Hey guys, it's Dr. Nate here at Thrive Dental and Orthodontics. I'm joined by my lovely wife, Dr. Christine, and we are going to talk to you today about the truth about flossing. So what's the main question patients always ask us?
Can I replace flossing with a WaterPik? We're gonna go over some facts and some information to help back that up.
All right, guys, let's talk about some facts about the water flosser versus brushing versus floss versus mouth rinse. So let's talk about the penetration depth that it can go. So this is, when you're looking at a tooth, you have this little sulcus in between the tooth and the gums. And you know, when you go to the dental office, you'll go in there and we'll be naming all these numbers. We'll say that's a 1 or 2 or 3 or 4.
Measuring it all out, yeah.
Hopefully it's not more than a 3, because then you're gonna have some gum disease. That's what that means. You know, I've done other videos that describes that, but let's talk about the penetration depth of, let's see, what is toothbrush? Toothbrush penetration depth can go like 2 millimeters-ish underneath the gums. 2 millimeters is about normal. Rinsing is same thing, 1 or 2 millimeters. Flossing, you can go further into the sulcus, that's in between the tooth and the gums. You can go up to 3 millimeters, but what can a water flosser do?
How many millimeters?
Almost up to 6 millimeters on medium pressure.
Wow, that's impressive.
So that's impressive. So far, we're thinking the water flosser actually has some advantages over flossing.
One study even found that the water flosser was 93% more effective than manual floss at reducing bleeding gums.
All right, so it's looking like water floss is doing pretty good. Let's go over some of the pros and cons of water flossing versus just regular flossing.
Yep. So the pros of manual flossing is that they're way cheaper, super affordable, plus you can take it anywhere with you, plus it's very low maintenance.
All right, but some of the downfalls of flossing are that not everybody knows how to floss. How many times we've been in the office where patients are like, I don't even know how to floss. And I know you've done a video on this previously on how to properly floss. So look at that. It's not just as easy as you think. So sometimes people aren't that good at flossing. That's a con. That's definitely a con.
And then some people have really tight contacts between their teeth, so they have a really hard time, or they may have some disability where it's hard for them to use their hands or their wrists and things like that. It takes a lot of maneuvering.
Yeah, and then also sometimes it actually hurts your gums. You know, like you said, some people have really tight contacts, so when they go to put that floss in between the teeth, it goes down really hard and it damages the gums. And if you do that over time, you can actually get some gum recession. So those are some of the cons, I think, of manual flossing. So now let's actually talk about the pros and cons of water floss. All right, so let's talk about some of the pros of water flossing. And I love this for orthodontics. You know, I'm an orthodontist, so I love to do it with orthodontics because this is great for braces. So it can leave your teeth feeling nice and clean and just smooth because there's so much water shooting out there, and it just makes it feel nice and good. Number 2 is you can actually change the pressure. You know, so if you are a little more sensitive, maybe you'll do a little less pressure. If you just want to go at it really hard, you can get it really nice and clean. As well as if you have any appliances in your mouth, which you do with ortho, maybe it's an expander or herpes appliance or forces appliance. You guys have heard me talk about those before. That can actually get really nice and clean with a water flosser. I always recommend a water flosser when you have those types of appliances.
Yeah, especially braces. I mean, can you imagine always trying to brush around and floss around every little bracket and wire? I mean, that's a lot of work, and that water flosser just makes it so much easier.
Yeah, and then sometimes there's a timer on these water flossers. So, you know, just like brushing, you want to brush really well and thoroughly for 2 minutes. Water flosser has some timers that help you kind of make sure you're getting in there really nice and good. So those are some of the pros of water flosser.
Okay, so some of the cons of a water flosser is that obviously they're way more expensive, and also you can't just take it in your back pocket. You know, it's hard to take on vacations and things like that. And also it's just a little bit more messy. There's like water splattering everywhere and stuff like that. So it's not as low maintenance. So here's a recap. The pros of manual flossing is that it's cheaper, it's easier for traveling, and it's not as messy. So the cons of manual flossing is that, number 1, they're just kind of harder to do if you don't have good dexterity in your hands and wrists. Also, they may be very hard for some individuals with very tight contacts, which can also damage the gums if we're yanking too hard on our floss.
Right, and so to recap, so some of the pros of a water flosser are that it gets in there really nice and good. If you have braces or any appliances, you can really get them nice and clean. You can adjust the pressure, maybe adjust the timing a little bit. But some of the cons are, man, that thing is messy. I tried it and it is messy. It's super messy. And obviously you can't take it on trips because, well, you could, but it's just like a big thing. And we just like do carry-ons, and so that gets a little bit more difficult.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of pros and cons to each, but what is your favorite? What's your routine like?
I am a huge fan of just flossing, manual flossing, because I feel like I could really get in there, and I just feel so sure because it's physical floss that snaps between the teeth, and I could get all around. With a water flosser, I feel like it's a little bit more like I think I'm getting in the right places, and so I feel more sure when I have manual floss. And also, it's easier to take with me on the go.
Yeah, so we have a bunch of hygienists at our offices, and I talked to them about this specifically, and I told them about this study. I said, hey, there's a study that says that water flosser is better, and they're basically like,
nope,
that's
I don't
junk.
buy that.
I don't buy that.
That's what I said at first too.
Yes.
That's what I said at first too, because I was like, there's no way that water can do the same thing that physical manual floss can do.
Right. And I think one of the things is when you're actually flossing, you're getting really right in between the contacts. And as we know, most adults are getting flossing cavities, right? So if you're not flossing properly, in between the teeth, you're getting flossing cavities. So my suggestion, and I think this is a hygienist suggestion as well, is floss 100%. So you want a good toothbrush, you want to do great brushing habits, you want to do great flossing habits, and then if you really want to be extra amazingly awesome, then you'd also use a water flosser. But actually water flosser, they do recommend if you have periodontal disease, like we're mentioning, if you have those deep pockets
from bone loss and attachment loss of the gums from the teeth, from the roots and all that.
They recommend that a lot. And same thing if you have ortho with the appliances, or if you have braces, you know this, like food is getting stuck like crazy. So I think that's a good adjunct or good extra use of different devices to make your teeth extra clean. But I still think the gold standard is brushing, flossing. Extra awesomeness is water flosser.
And doing it every single day and brushing 2 minutes twice a day, not just once a day. I know sometimes people say, well, I had to be on the run and I couldn't do it. You got to do it twice a day.
So once again, Dr. Nate here, joined by my lovely wife, Dr. Christine. So hopefully you learned a lot about manual flossing versus automatic or water flossers. As you know, guys, we're putting out videos every single week, so we're trying to do our best to answer all the questions and comments below, although it's getting a little hard, but we're trying our best.
Let us know. Any other questions you have, leave them in the comments.
So please subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week.